fuck off.
God's on the radio. You got Buddha on the audio. Scott Bale on the telephone. Dan Rather at Presidio and put all the knowledge in the same game. Mark on the stereo. You got rum in your Cheerio. Lift up from the get-go. Grab another spoon. It's the most important meal of the day.
You gotta. You gotta. You gotta. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up
God's on the radio with the world in his video. Phil Collins in the studio. Phil Collins in the studio. Bach on the stereo. You got Drambuie in your Cheerio. No better way to let go. Grab another spoon. It's the most important meal of the day.
You gotta. You gotta. You gotta. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up louder. You gotta. I gotta. We gotta. Don't you know we gotta?
Don't you know me?
Hey there.
Gotta.
Hey there.
How are you today,
Trying to
sir?
get set up here. I'm good. I'm good.
Excellent. You're looking good.
This is going to be fun. It's weird, you know. I've done a couple with Pop Off and with Marco the Contrarian, and I've been a fan of them, and that was relaxed. But I mean, I've known Jacob since 1987 ish, and I don't know. I'm more nervous than I normally am. Just,
Well, that's
you know what I mean.
yes, I know exactly what you mean. Did you catch last night's show with Robert Lawson?
Yes.
You did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, because you commented
It was
on it.
good.
Yeah, that was
It
a
was
great
good.
show.
I mean, it started off kind of wonky technology-wise, and then picked up.
Yeah, but still not as bad as the first Andy Curran show. That was an unfortunate.
Oh no.
That was unfortunate.
No.
We learned lessons each
I saw
time.
I saw that one live, and
Oh, and you know what? I should have coordinated with Deke. He was wearing this exact shirt last night.
oh really?
Yeah. I should have coordinated with Deke. So you've known Jacob for quite a few years.
Yes.
I've known Jacob since you've introduced me to his music, which, God, that's got to be about a decade ago, I think.
And your wife
And yes,
knows of Jacob.
she knew Jacob back in her church days about 20 years ago in Toronto.
Yes.
So yeah,
it's going to be interesting, and hopefully a special guest dropping by. Fingers crossed. Just a little drop in. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Either way, we have a very special message for Jacob from Andy Curran that we will be running for him as well. Lots to talk about in terms of Jacob's original music, and also I would say he's one of a few artists that are maybe better known for their covers.
Well, I mean, that's obviously the way it's went. Like, you got to be, I guess, you got to be known for something. And I mean, they put the work in and made that Subdivision's quite special, which we'll be hearing about, I'm sure.
But his covers are
pretty neat.
Are anything but lazy. They're innovative. We'll be talking about some different innovations that Jacob has been taking advantage of in his musical career.
Yes, indeed.
And his incredible work with visuals, because he's also a really a visual artist as well in this modern age of YouTube.
Yeah, it's interesting with I mean, like The Moon at Noon always looks really quality, and like obviously, I was watching a few of the Rush cover videos. There's a Red Sector A, and I mean it's glossy. Like it looks very real. Like it doesn't look indie. Is what it is.
No,
you know what I'm saying.
No. Of course, we live in an era when technology is available to each of us in a way that, like 20 years ago, there's no way we would have been able to do this, you and I. So, technology has aided and abetted as well. If two knuckleheads like us can do this and talk to England and Hawaii and Australia all at the same time, then it's certainly imaginable that somebody with the talent, the inborn talent of Jacob Moon, could do something really special.
It's true, yeah. And I mean, who knows who's going to be actually watching live at this time? If you think about it, it's a Saturday. It's nice weather out. It's, what is it? No, it's almost the first weekend, or is it the second weekend? Now that that you can actually do something in Ontario,
right? Well, yeah. Last weekend, everything opened up, and we had the fiascos of like 3-hour long lineups at HomeSense, which I'd rather take a bullet to my head, but more power to you. So I think like you can see for yourself. There's nothing going on today at the beach. I think everybody's going to stores and going to restaurants right now. They're taking advantage of this.
Yeah. Exactly.
When I was here last time, which was the last weekend before opening, it was busy. There's constant streams of people going to the beach. So we shall see. Today is a social experiment.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense though, too, if you really think about it. Like, even just people wanting to look for something that they don't even think they need. It's just whatever. You haven't had that option. Like,
right.
I mean, this is kind of stereotypical, but obviously females are more shoppers. Like, I'm sure that they have missed just being able to go and shop somewhere. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Pretty much the same that you've missed being able to go into a record store, like you said last night.
Not just a record store, man.
Whatever. You don't even know that.
Not just a record store, but there's other things I've missed as well. That kind of.
Oh yes.
But listen, enough jibber jabber.
Transformers.
More than meets the eye. Enough jibber jabber. Why don't we start the show and introduce today's special guest? Are you down?
Okay. Well, actually, we should wait for him to at least see his bombastic opening. I did see. I saw Troy or T-Bone's thing, but you know what I mean. Like, I'd like him to be able to see it.
Well, he will be able to see it.
I'm sure he's going to be on here.
He's waiting right now. He can see everything. He can hear us. He can see us. I
didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Maybe I should
know that. I didn't know he was there yet.
Jacob, if you are good to go, can you just give me a thumbs up? Yeah, he's giving us a thumbs up. Okay, so I would like to introduce today's special guest.
The LeBrain Train is proud to present Jacob Moon.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, not too much.
Hey, man, it's good to see you.
Yeah. Eric, what's up, man? Introduce me to your friend here. What's going on?
It's up. My friend here is the host of the LeBrain Train that he's been doing now for about a year and a half, but he's been writing blogs for many, many years. A good friend of mine, Michael Ladano. I've known him since about 1996 or so.
Yeah.
From when I was working at The Beat Goes On. And
Nice.
And we have been
friends
for a long time. Not as long as you and I, of course. But
No,
cool.
no, that goes way back.
Although there are
85 or something like that, right? Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about 86.
Maybe
I was trying to think about that.
Mhm.
86. Yeah.
Sounds
It's
good.
interesting, man. And how is Hamilton?
It's great. It's great. Yeah. No, it's it's coming alive a little bit. You know, I was like to put my finger on the pulse by kind of going to a local Walmart and kind of seeing how people are behaving. You know.
Yeah, that's a good.
Are they back to just wearing their pajamas? Are they comfortable? You know. Are they are they cheek by jowl, or are they social distancing? Now they're back to just like whatever. They're letting it all hang out. So I think Hamilton's back, baby.
Well, it's
You're braver
interesting
than
how,
I am.
3 months ago, it would have been like, oh, Hamilton not doing too well. And Kitchener-Waterloo's okay. Now it's the complete opposite, supposedly. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean Hamilton not doing great is like comparatively, right? I mean, we had 23 cases yesterday in a city of 500,000.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I don't know, we're getting a little hysterical.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it is what it is. It's been
Yeah.
an interesting year and a half. I'm sure it's been a quite interesting one for you because you had to change everything that you usually do or what you were doing before because you were touring a fair amount before.
Yeah, no, touring. I mean, touring to me is not like the most fun part of what I do. I like getting it's a bit of a retreat sometimes from domestic life. If you're a dad of 3 kids and you get to get on a plane and like fly away for a week, you know, it's a little bit of a hallelujah moment for sure. But getting this time to kind of be not getting on planes, not waiting in rental car counters and not staying in crappy hotels and stuff, or just the rigors of the road. I just think I like this sort of thing where I'm kind of singing into a camera. It's better for my mental state, as I discovered as well.
I hear you there.
Yeah.
I've been very much enjoying doing things this way for the last year and a bit. Did the Moon at Noon and Moon at 9 stuff, did that start with COVID as a result of what we're in right now?
It was before that. I've been doing that for a couple of years before that, but not regularly, like not every week. It was just I tried it, but it was what I was trying to do was to kind of do a high production television show. Basically, I was looking around the landscape and seeing everybody using their phones and their laptops to go live, and I thought, sound isn't great, doesn't look that interesting. I'm going to try and make it more interesting, multicam, great sound and stuff, and so I was doing all this work before every broadcast that was not related to music whatsoever. It was related to the technical aspect of going live and trying to get a good bit rate and trying to all these things. And I wasn't. Then it was like it's time to go live. Like pick up my guitar for the first time. I'm like, oh yeah, what am I playing here? And you know what I mean? I hadn't really gone over it, and so it could be a little uneven sometimes musically. And also technically, it was just always a headache. So I tried to find in COVID times, I tried to find a more zen way to do it, like one camera that captures the audio, and the video, and send it down the pike that way. And and I've since then I've kind of arrived at a hybrid approach where I'm kind of I leave it set up. It's on kind of a those AV carts from like when you're in grade 9 or whatever, AV club. I bought one of those. I actually went to Uline and bought one of those things. And so I've got all my stuff just permanently on there. I just drag the cart over to where I'm doing it, set up the lights, plug in and play. And it's pretty easy. So the amount of friction, daily friction is less. So I can do it more often, which is good.
Eric, just so you're aware,
you
had a surprise that you had planned, and the surprise is ready. If just so you were aware.
Yeah, but I put them on.
Okay, so would you like to say anything before I do this?
No.
Okay. Surprise.
What's going on?
Look at this.
How you doing, handsome?
Dude, I can't believe it. This is so exciting. I like your handle as well. That's very nice. That's
I thought you'd like that.
You came up with it. How do I pronounce that?
Trevcat Asthwaite.
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Thwaite. It's very specific. It's Thwaite.
Yeah. Asthwaite. Come on.
It's really not. It's not your best work.
I'm a little disappointed with how I look right now, though. It looks, because of the lighting in here, it looks like I've got a goatee. And
it does.
I'm not cool with goatees.
Well, hey, because of the lighting, I look like I'm about 87. So,
what a good-looking 87.
Trevor,
thank you,
Trevor. Yeah. I want to introduce you to Mike Ladano, who's I've been a friend with him for a long time. He is the host of this show.
Nice to meet you,
nice to meet you.
Cool.
So, how are you, sir?
Hey, just rolling with the punches, man. Since the last time we talked, Eric, I have 3 new 2 that are already arrived and 1 more coming babies. Ruby's 3, Calliope is 1 and a bit, and my wife's due again in October.
Wow. So you're getting that 3rd one through Amazon Prime, I'm told as well.
Yeah, and we ordered from China, so it's probably going to be. They say October, but I'm expecting January, February.
Yeah, no, that's probably a safe bet. Yeah, congratulations, by the way. I mean, I've said it privately, but congratulations to you.
Thank you. And we also ordered from Wish, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to get.
Is that they don't have stock? Do they at Wish? They have nothing.
I'm not sure.
And also just beware of the porch pirates as well. That's a danger these days.
Yeah, it is a danger. Hey, I have a funny story. I did order once off of Wish, and I ordered vintage combat boots that were black and green. And I was super excited because they were only like $90 or something. And 6 months later, when they arrived, they were I would call them chartreuse. They weren't leather.
Right.
They were actually like vinyl, really shiny chartreuse.
Yeah.
With red laces.
Yeah.
So kind of like a Santa Claus on Molly, I would guess, for that look. But
wow. And you got
so don't order off Wish.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you were tempted to order off Wish, but don't do it.
Don't do it. No, it's so true. All you see is the picture. There's no brand. There's no nothing. You just you're going on faith at that point, and it's
right.
Yeah, of which I have very little left.
In general, yes.
In general.
I can imagine. So, Trevor, it is absolutely amazing to see you again.
Dude, I love it.
That shirt's wicked.
Oh, name.
It's Jacob bought it for me last year, so there it is.
Awesome.
Sorry, Eric.
So, I was thinking about it. The last time I saw you in person was at the boathouse. Watching McLeod and Romeo Sex Fighter.
Romeo Sex Fighter?
Yes, and I think at least twice, maybe 3 times that I saw you. It was great to hang out and stuff. It's very ironic because I thought about it, and the last time that I have.
Sorry, did you say erotic?
Jacob.
I
Did you
That's
say
what I
erotic?
No,
That's,
no, I didn't, but I probably should have. I probably
Oh,
should have.
okay.
Probably should have. But
was-
it's ironic, not erotic. Certainly not ironic.
Ironic.
It's
Yeah.
ironic that the last time I saw Jacob was at McLeod's funeral. I was thinking
wow.
about it, and that's which I
Yeah.
believe the funeral itself is 5 years ago right now.
Isn't that crazy,
Because it
man?
was 5 years ago, 2 days ago. Yeah, it was
Wow,
5 years
man.
ago.
That was a big loss, man.
Yeah.
Big loss. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Love
crazy.
that guy.
Crazy.
But yeah, time flies, man.
And it's and it's crazy with Jacob. Like, I really has got an interesting, a very interesting perspective, because I know that probably him and McLeod, they used to kind of perform for the class in Forest Heights with whatever they're doing,
Yep.
And that's kind of neat.
That is really awesome. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was 1/3 of a band called the Joshua 3. And I wore my U2 shirt in honor of the Joshua 3 today. It was me and Craig Farhood and Rob Willis, and we figured it out that we could probably take care of U2 music with 3 guys. You don't need that 4th guy. So you can just get it done with 3 guys. So I was strapped on the bass and sang at the same time, and I wasn't fully aware of what I was getting into by doing that, because playing bass and singing at the same time, it's a little bit like it's a little bit of that. So, but the crowd was going so crazy. We just launched into Streets Have No Name, and they just went nuts. I don't think they heard a thing we played. We just it was like the Beatles playing at Shea Stadium or something like that. It was mayhem.
That's a great story.
So Jacob, was the decision to do U2 as a 3-piece, was that an economical decision? One less band member?
Yes. One less mouth to feed. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh shoot! So what, did you just continue shaving off a band member at a time until it's like you're the one-man show?
Oh, that's basically Now when I do U2 night on Moon at 9, it's just me. Yeah. So there's no need for all those guys. Yeah. They
No need for all those guys.
The Edge.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
Come on.
At Mooner, I was thinking about it, and the first time, I'm pretty sure the first time I ever saw you play anything really live was at Forest Heights. I saw you play Jungle Love.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and whatever that Pride or whatever the other thing
It's called
is,
Journey.
or Journey. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Neil Sean issued a cease and desist letter shortly after we called it that. But, we got away with it for a few good years there, so it was good.
And that cease and desist letter is framed and notarized.
Exactly.
Hey everybody! I
So-
just want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Brian here, who actually he's the one that requested having Jacob on the show a few weeks ago. Brian was watching a show that we were doing on the top 10 cover tunes of all time, and I believe Subdivisions ended up on multiple lists, if I'm not mistaken, right? So then Brian said, "Why don't you just get Jacob on the show?" So hey to Brian, glad you're watching.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. $5.
So I don't remember.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
It's something like that.
We'll talk after.
I don't know if Trevor's going to remember this story specifically, but I just want to say 2 words to Jacob Moon and see what he would say that his side of the story is. And those 2 words are Christmas goalie.
Christmas goalie. Yes. They don't seem like 2 words that should go together. But
tell the people what that is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically that was by some error, I think, some kind of accounting, some clerical error. They let Eric Litwiller sing in the church choir at Waterloo Pentecostal Assembly. I think he was wearing a mustache or what was happening, but he got through the line. He got into the chorus. He sang with the male chorus. I don't know if he read a note of music necessarily. He just would sit beside me, and I sort of, I don't know if I read that much either, but I gleaned from, from the book and from the way the notes moved up and down generally, kind of where we came in and what we sang. And he didn't really look at the lyric sheet that much either of the stuff that we were singing. He was kind of on his own, in his own world, and he would come up with his own lyrics for the songs. And so there's one big triumphant moment of this, Christmas themed musical that we're singing for a packed church where we're all supposed to raise our hands and the lights come up and, and it's supposed to be Christmas glory, right? And his hands go up, Christmas glory. And I fell out. I just disappeared in the back row. So that was.
That sounds like Eric to me. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Did I get that right, Eric? Yeah. Was there anything I'm missing from that story?
No, and that's funny. I purposely did not mention it again. I wanted to do it live to see if you told the story like I told Mike yesterday, or did they before? And it was exactly.
That is the exact story that I heard.
Yes, that's exactly true. True.
It was a quintessentially Canadian moment, is what it was. Yeah, we found a way to put hockey into Christmas, and it was
Now I'm going to do the reverse. Trevor, I'm going to say 2 words to you, and now you can tell the story that I'm sure you'll know where I'm going with this. And those 2 words are chocolate factory.
Uh-oh.
He's drawing a blank.
Chocolate
factory.
Chocolate. Does this have anything to do with Willy Wonka?
I have no idea.
It's a karaoke bar in Winnipeg.
Oh man, yes, at Jacob Moon's Stag and Doe.
Yes,
and yes, we karaoke that night.
Yes,
and I seem to recall that the Mooner and I, we would have done Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald that night on my own.
On my own.
And we
did.
had the crowd.
Yes, you did.
We had the crowd on their feet, I do believe. And I'm sure everyone listening can guess who did the Michael McDonald part and who got.
Yeah.
I got stuck being a Patti LaBelle. Yeah.
That's because you're a freak of nature. You're a freak of nature singer. So, like, come on. I don't know how you pulled it off. It was pretty amazing. I also remember that that I think to end it off, Jacob did "We Are the World," doing impressions
and he did all the voices
of all the singers.
Yeah,
yes.
Going around like singing right into like Vietnamese people who probably don't know English, and like actually getting them to like lower their heads in shame, like "We're the world. What are you doing?" It was pretty crazy.
Let's see.
I've never seen anything like it.
It was. It was irreverent, but it had to be done.
It had to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm sorry to tell you, man. I've never actually worn those boots because they're just horrific.
That's tragic. That is tragic.
It's super tragic. I still do have them. They're in my shoe closet. And I'll probably never get rid of them just because of their hideousness. But I'll never wear them.
They need to be contained. They need to be not released back into the wild for this mistake to be happening.
Released back into the wild.
Well, the Smithsonian may express interest at some point, I think, maybe, but
it's very possible.
So, Trev, I listened to some Ghosts of Memphis today again. It's been a while. Are you still doing stuff with Jerry Finn?
Yeah, I mean, we still write together.
Are you still doing stuff?
Yeah, we still write together. Jerry is working on a new project called The Rowdy Men, which is an all Newfoundlander cast. a little ensemble, I guess we'll call them. So yeah, I'm writing some songs for him and with him. But I haven't seen him in real life since like November. If you remember, like in the fall, we had that like 15 minutes where COVID restrictions got dropped. Took advantage of that, and I got to see him one night. We met in a studio and wrote some songs with some other buddies. But that's the only time I've seen him since the November prior. So November of 2019 is the last time we like played a show together, which is pretty crazy to get my head around. Yeah. Yeah. But we talk basically every day. We text every day or talk every day. So, cool. As far as the Ghosts of Memphis go,
obviously,
it's going
to be hard for you. I mean, you have a third coming. You know, that doesn't really allow you much play when it.
No, but I think like the Mooner said a few minutes ago, there's going to be some respite involved in getting away once things open up again and we can play some shows together or whatever. It'll be nice to to not, because I've literally been sitting in my living room since March of 2020, right? So
amen. Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, not right now.
So it'll be not right now. Yeah. But yeah, it'll be nice to get out there and do stuff. But yeah, it'll be a little more limited. And to be honest with you, I've lost the flavor for. I don't want to tour anymore. There's so many other cool ways to make music and get it out there that I'm certainly done playing in like dive bars where everybody's asking for free bird constantly. And so like, I miss playing, but I don't miss what I used to do 4 nights a week. I don't miss that at all. I'll never go back to that. But anyway, so Ghost of Memphis is still going. We'll probably go till we're dead.
Hey, Eric.
But go should, of course.
Yeah. And go should.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we completely derail this, shall we throw a question to Jacob from the audience?
Of course.
All right. Okay, hang on a second. There we go. Jacob, do you find that playing audience requests on live streams helps you strengthen certain musical skills that you can apply in other settings, or are those skills specific to live streaming?
Yeah, it kind of you have to sort of stay sharp when it comes to fielding requests. Like people will, somebody asked me to play some Billy Joel the other day, and I don't really know any Billy Joel songs, right? So I'm just kind of like, well, what's one that I could probably jump on? And I thought, well, Piano Man can't be that tricky, right? So I kind of jumped onto Piano Man on the guitar, and you're sort of in real time processing, looking at the lyric sheet, because you can't print out a full score of the thing. You can only look at the lyrics on a little 15-inch screen, and then and you hope there's not too many of them that you don't have to scroll through them, kind of thing, and then play the guitar at the same time. But I'm kind of playing the song, and the chords, sometimes don't reveal themselves to me until milliseconds before I have to play them. And so, right, like, because you're sort of like, there's no chords written there. I just have to kind of divine what they might be from my memory of the song. And depending how good my memory of the song is, I sometimes end up composing whole sections of songs that I don't actually know how they go. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the songs that you know the chorus to, right? And maybe you know the pre-chorus to it, but the verses are just a cipher, like there's nothing there, right? So you look at the lyrics and it's just you got nothing. So you're kind of coming up with your own little parts to them. And so I've had a lot of fun doing it. Honestly, it cracks me up to do it and to have my own little versions of the songs. Sometimes I just sort of discover a whole new arrangement. Then some really weird arrangements of like Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics and In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, all songs that I've never played before. But when people ask for them, I just feel, I should honor their request, kind of. And some people are tipping in many cases, and they're saying, "Here's $20, play this song." And I'm like, "All right, I can be bought," So,
love it.
as an unemployed musician, sitting in my studio, absolutely. So it's forced me into some, some new skills of improvisation and just sharpness, just kind of being ready to kind of pivot at any time. And I remember that from when I was you know, coming up, I used to play shows with like Patty Flynn at the, you know, at the Circus Room, you know, and I used to play with Mike Daly all over the place. And both those guys knew a ton of songs, you know, and they would just call a tune and they're just like, okay, just follow me. And you just got to kind of, okay. In that case, you're hearing somebody play something that you can react to. But it's still that same kind of quick thinking that you have to kind of modulate what you're doing to fit what's either happening or should happen, you know? So, yeah.
That's a really fascinating answer. And as a non-musician myself, my mind is boggled at the various levels of just skill that you have to possess in order to pull that off. So kudos to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I should preface it by saying like, there's no, there's no getting around the fact that if you do improv, whether it's comedy or music, you know, on the regular, you are going to fall on your face every once in a while. You know what I mean? And that's part of the excitement of it. And so it's how you pick yourself back up and how you kind of make a joke out of it or kind of, you know, move to the next moment that kind of defines whether that's a successful improvisation or not, you know, sort of thing. But I've lost my fear. I think I've had a fear sometimes of like screwing up, being less than, being not enough as a musician, you know, and therefore as a person, you know what I mean, or something. And so you just sort of like prepare, you know, try to get it so that it's like together by the time you have to present it. And this whole period has been great for just kind of like wiping that out and just being like, okay, you've got what you need. Like by now, like having played this many years, like just go do it now.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Brian has a follow-up question here.
Yeah.
As a live music fan, what you guys are saying is what I was afraid of. Less musicians will be willing to play live in front of audience because they prefer to do live casts. That will happen in some cases.
In some cases, yes. Yeah. I have to say, though, that, the live music experience can be just incredible. You know what I mean? Yeah. The problem is the variability of it. You know, like you especially playing for Canadian audiences, you know, I've just played for a lot of Canadian faces, you know, that look like.
Yeah, right.
Right.
In that's a little square. You know?
They're having a great time. You haven't told their face, but they're having a great time. So, but you don't know that. And you're on stage and you're alone and you're doing a show and you're trying to kind of gin up the energy to kind of move the atoms in the room and just kind of really, you know, inflict your kind of presentation on the audience kind of thing and hope that they will give something back. And that will kind of keep this, you know, self-perpetuating engine going on stage of energy, you know, and sometimes that just is so hard to come by for so many reasons, right? Maybe the sound is bad. Maybe the room is bad. The audience, there's just not enough of them for them to not feel embarrassed or whatever it is. You know, it's so many reasons why a gig, you know, you've agreed to it. Now you're going to do it. But upon doing it, it's just not a great experience. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so something about the live stream experience is kind of like when it's over, you know, the computer lid goes down. I unplug my guitar, set it up. I go in and within 30 seconds, I'm sitting on the couch with my wife, you know, with a cold drink in my hand. So I don't know. Like it's hard to argue that isn't pretty great, you know, if it could continue. And if people had an interest in seeing it that way, you know.
Sorry, I just have to. We have a schnauzer sighting. Schnauzer sighting.
This is important. Sorry, you know, you're right.
That is Dr. Catherine Ladano from Wilfrid Laurier University. Oh, hang on. They're waving.
Speaking of.
Oh, they're off camera. Oh, well. It's okay. Sorry, the camera's over there now.
That's awesome.
Mike, I think you wanted to ask Jacob about Laurier.
Yeah. What I read on your bio that you attended Wilfrid Laurier. I attended Wilfrid Laurier. What years were you there?
I was there from 91 to 95.
I was there from 91 to 94. No, 95. So here's the funny thing. I mentioned earlier I'm not a musician, but I hung out in the musicians lounge all the time during my time at Laurier. I was friends with all those people. So I think chances are that you and I have probably been in the same room at the same time back in those Laurier days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's funny.
Those were interesting days. Yeah, it was. I'm not sure. It's funny. I went to Laurier because I was afraid to go to Laurier. You know, I think I was half of it. I was like, it was a mountain to climb in some ways. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be a musician, I should learn all the proper music stuff and everything else. And in retrospect, I don't know if I should have maybe gone to Humber or something. I should have gone to anywhere else, but Laurier. But I, you know, I had a decent time there. It was very formal, you know, musically. And I had to shake that off when I left. I had to kind of go to Hamilton, where it was like Daniel Lanois and Tom Wilson and like all the kind of, you know, sort of a little more, you know, rough around the edges kind of rootsy guys that were kind of set the tone for the musical scene. And so I had to kind of, I don't know, just to kind of pivot a little bit when I came out of that Laurier experience, which was very much about recitals and and just, you know, just about music that was 200 or 300 years ago, you know. So
right, yeah. My sister is very much like you, my Dr. Catherine, who just walked past. She, you know, has been schooled very much in the formal. What am I trying to say? She's been schooled formally, but she really prefers improvisation. That's her bread and her butter. Actually, I think that she'd really enjoy seeing some of the things that you've done with technology. She's very much into experimenting with technology, and you know, I guess you're kind of known as a looper, they call them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have a guitar and you hit a pedal and you can create a backing track for yourself to solo over, I guess. Is that am I saying that in layman's terms correctly?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would add is that I'm recording what I'm doing, you know.
Okay.
And it's making a real-time recording of what's happening and then letting that kind of loop, you know, and that's sort of a foot technique that you got to kind of get it to loop to the right, you know, sort of size kind of thing. And there's not too much or too little. And then you kind of loop over top of that, you know, overdub. And there's 3 different tracks that I can kind of keep track of. And so, yeah, it's kind of a whole discipline and art unto itself. And I've been doing it since the tail end of those Laurier days.
Back then, would it have been tape?
It would have been a thing called a Jam Man, and you could get as a rack mount device that could give you like 32 seconds of looping, which is enough to do most verses, choruses of songs. And so, yeah, I would just use that. I would play in the Old English parlor in Waterloo, and they'd put me in the only unlit corner of the room, you know, with the television right above my head, and
right.
People playing trivia on it and stuff.
Yeah,
and burst into applause every once in a while. You'd hear like this in the middle of your song. I'm like, oh, all right, having a little Ed McMahon moment. People are clapping in the middle of the song, you know. And no, these people were somebody just scored against the Bruins or something like that, you know. And so you just had to kind of, you had to really just, okay, ease up there, buddy. You're not really performing. You're just, I mean, because I'd seen Paul McLeod perform there, and I thought that's what you do. You perform in these places, and so that's what I did every time. But it didn't always work out that I had an audience to perform for. So
right,
yeah.
Technology's changed so much since then, though. Like you're talking about a 32-second sound bite.
Yeah.
And of course, today.
Well, yeah. I mean, at some point, the song's only 4 or 5 minutes long, unless you're doing something very progressive.
Right.
And so really, you don't need it to be outrageously long. But I mean, having something long enough that you could have a backing track running behind the song for the whole time. You know, I've done that in some live performances for the live stream. I feel like I can kind of get away with that a little bit because it's sort of, I don't know, people just want a good experience when they're hearing a live stream. They don't necessarily have rules for the performer about what they can and can't do, you know? And so I would use like demo stuff that I'd worked up on Pro Tools, you know, for a song and kind of just trigger it with the looping machine and then play over top of that live and sing over top of it live. And not for that many songs, because I don't have many of those things prepared, but it's something that you can use for that, technology has come a long way. But on the other hand, it's also, you know, everybody who buys a looper just has dreams of it kind of going great for them. And it usually is just, it's a mirror, basically. A looper is a mirror. So it's whatever you're giving it. Right. And so if you're giving it good playing and playing that's in time and good ideas, then the looper loves it. You know what I mean? But if it holds up that mirror to what you're doing and it's not that, then it can be quite a deflating experience, using a looper for sure. So it's not for the faint of heart, because it does let you down. It does, things unforeseen will happen and you'll crash and burn, and that's in front of an audience, and all that entails. So yeah.
Yeah, just like with computers, garbage in, garbage out is the saying.
Yeah, in some ways, yeah.
So how many generations of technology have you lived through with your looping techniques?
Yeah, I mean, now I think probably if I was going to go to the next level, it would be something computer based, right? So it would be something with Ableton Live and some kind of sort of expanded MIDI pedal, ground control kind of thing. So, but I just I don't know. That's a whole thing to get into, and there's no real need to. Like the net gain that you'd get from doing it that way is so minuscule, and certainly from the audience's perspective, it's not great. You know what I mean? I mean, it maybe it would automate it to a point where I wouldn't have to look down ever, and it would just events would just happen within Ableton that would be pre-programmed. But that takes some of the fun out of it for me, because I like it as a high wire act. Yeah. I like it as a thing that I'm kind of
you're playing live. You're
I'm kind of sweating
live.
a little bit, right? It's like it could go wrong, right? I think you take the danger out of it, out of any art form, and you start to see it die a little bit. And it's always more alive when people are on the tips of their toes,
Yeah. Cool. Yep. Meat. I'll hand it back over to you.
Trevor, I'm wondering. I don't want to keep you in limbo here. Do you have any questions for Jacob Moon at all? Or?
Any questions?
What have we not covered together, buddy? Yeah,
man. Right, like we keep in pretty steady contact, so I'm not really out of the loop on what's happening. I know. Like, but, any questions? No, maybe I probably got more questions for you, but this isn't your show, so
yeah, that's a whole other show.
Yeah, and probably a lot I won't answer anyway. So
those questions you can ask me.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just think it's really fun to be here and listen to this today. I appreciate the invite, man.
Oh, it's awesome. Absolutely. No, I just didn't want you to make you feel like you're just sitting there.
No,
I got you in your pretty face, of course. So
anytime somebody Facebook messengers me and says, "Hey, man, I got a favor to ask you," I get that sunken feeling in my chest.
And then you see that him, and it sinks even further.
Yeah, that's right. And I just go, "Oh, man, like my time's at a premium, and I'm not feeling great, and it's COVID, and it's hot." And I'm like, "What do you need?" And he's like, "Do you want to do a podcast with the Mooner and my buddy Mike tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Awesome.
That's the best favor I could ever be asked, and ever. So
awesome. Well, it is amazing to have you here, and it's incredible to see you. Okay.
Same.
Now I want to say to Jacob here, I very much remember a conversation on the phone I had. So it was somewhere around, my guess is it was like 2011 that we were talking on the phone, and Jacob, you told me about a little project that you were about to do with the song Subdivisions. And I remember thinking, cool. And what it became is unbelievable. So I'd like to just kind of hear, and for the people to hear, just how that came about, like what made you think of doing this version, and etc.
Yeah, I mean, for that you got to go back to, I don't know, was it 2005 when Rush did their R30 tour? Maybe, right? Like that's when I saw them live. My brother-in-law is a world famous oyster shucker. He holds the Guinness Book of World Records for fastest oyster shucking. And he had his own oyster restaurant at the time called Starfish. And the guys from Rush would routinely come down there and hang out, and just, you know, Getty would bring his own wine, and they'd have a little thing, and they got to know him, and so Rush at one point said, yeah, we're gonna do this show at Ontario Place, and do you want to come and, you know, cater it and do some stuff? And my brother-in-law says, yeah, I'd love to, but can I bring my my brother-in-law Jacob Moon? Like, yeah, whoever that is, sure, yeah, bring him along. And so I said, yeah, all right, I'll go, absolutely, I'll go. And so they, you know, I was sat there in the front row, you know, and I didn't help at all. I maybe help load in a cooler or something. That was the end of my catering duties. But at the end of the show, I get to bring them some oysters in the backstage room there, kind of thing. So, but the show itself was so impressive, and the songs just kind of, I don't know, they hit me in a new way, just being played live that way. And Subdivisions particularly, I just got this vision, and every once in a while I get these ideas, and if it's an idea that seems like it's one that I have a certain point of view on, and maybe only I can do this way, then it's almost irresistible. There's no turning back at that point. I have to do it. And so I went home and I started working on it, and you know, time went by. It was like, I don't know, maybe 18 months, you know, off and on. I'd pick it up, I'd put it down. I'd try to figure out a way to play Subdivisions, you know, what tuning would I need to use? Because it's in two different keys, you know, and it's like, you have to kind of keep the energy going. So you need lots of open strings. And so I kind of settled on this tuning that was kind of weird on the acoustic guitar. And then I started thinking about looping. I started thinking about bringing in elements from the original song, that low kind of voice of Subdivisions. And yeah, and so I just kind of started doing it live a few times, kind of putting it out there, seeing if I could kind of get away with it live. And yeah, that was a good proving ground for it, because it showed me that I really had to go into the woodshed and just work this thing out. And so for days, I would just kind of lock myself in the studio and just go play through it again and again and again, try to make it fail, try to see where the weak spots were. And I called my friend up, who was a videographer, and said, we should go up on the roof, you know, of the Staircase Theater in Hamilton and just shoot this. I mean, if you got time, it'd be kind of a fun thing. And I think it might be the sort of thing that would blow up on YouTube, which was kind of a new thing at that time, 2007 sort of thing. Or 2008, something like that. Anyways, yeah, he said, yeah, let's do it. And so a whole bunch of us kind of went up there. We had all this time setting everything up, you know, and we were losing our light. It was kind of getting, you know, to nighttime, and okay, we got time to take a few. And so I think we shot it 3 times. And then the light was too different. We couldn't use I wanted to keep takes between the 3 takes, so that if we needed certain sections, we still had them, because I'd played it so much that I'd actually memorized the tempo. So it was this exact same tempo without a click or anything like that. Just all three times was the same tempo, because I'd sort of not just memorized the words and the parts, but just like locked it down to that point. So when it was easy, you know, when they went into editing to get it done, it was easy, but not like, it wasn't quick. I think we shot it September 11th, 2008 or something. And it wasn't ready until December 24th, you know, which is a great time to release a video, by the way. Christmas Eve, just drop it like it's hot, you know, on the internet, and just wait for it to blow up. But somehow it did. Like it actually did. Actually, people, like, without me even knowing how to promote something like that, it just organically. This is the age of organic growth on the internet, and it would just, people passed it to one another, and they kind of. It kind of got to tens of thousands of views, which is kind of like Canadian viral, I guess. And so, and then eventually, I heard from Getty. He's passed on email through my sister, and said, "Hey, the guys have all seen the video. Great job. Keep it up, young man." I'm like, "All right, that's it. I can die now. You know, that's all I really need in my life." But it was. I thought that's where it would end. But then their management reached out about 8
Okay, wait a second.
later.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause for a second. And there's a reason for it. Let Mike take over here, because we kind of have another surprise for you.
Yeah, we have a guest question for you.
Okay.
Although it's a bit on the longish side, but when you see the guest question, you'll understand why we're going to run the whole thing.
Okay.
It just takes them a while to get to the actual question, but there's a story that goes with it. This question comes from Mr. Andy Curran of Coney Hatch, a gentleman on the show that I hope you know I hope you're familiar with Mr. Jacob Moon.
Of course I am.
Yeah, so I was just curious, like he's going to be on the show next week. Just wanted to know if you had anything you wanted to say, or anything about that track that he contributed to the Rush box set.
Yeah. So Jacob is an incredible Canadian talent, and I'll tell you how we got introduced to Jacob Moon. In and around the time when Anthem Records, when it kind of got the big change was when Ray Daniels decided to sell the catalog to Olé, a giant publishing company. And I had been working at Anthem Records for maybe 12, 13 years at that point as the A&R guy and part of the management team. So I went over in what they called the acquisition of the label, and they asked me to be the GM and run the label for them for a couple of years, which I did. And the very first thing they asked was if we could start doing some anniversary celebrations of these Rush releases. And I think the first one that we dug in deep on was 2112. And then we ended up doing A Farewell to Kings and Hemispheres while I was there. And one of the premises of one of the ideas that I brought to the label was, what if we went out to a couple different artists that we know are huge Rush fans and might be interested in doing cover versions of it, but we carefully curated it. It wasn't, we didn't want to make it feel like a tribute record. So we wanted to make sure there was a lot of old vintage archival Rush stuff on there. We wanted to make sure that there was maybe some stuff that was unearthed from the visual catalog. And we found an old black and white video from Passaic, New Jersey in 1977 of the guys on the 2112 tour. But long story short, with Billy Talent and, obviously Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins doing a version of something from 2112, somebody at the label, and I believe it was Robert Ott, said, we got to make sure we've got some good Canadian representation. We had Billy Talent on board to do Passage to Bangkok, I believe is what they did. So I told Robert that we had caught wind of Jacob Moon. He was a young indie artist. And when Rush was asked to perform at a ceremony honoring them at the Songwriters Hall of Fame, they said, no, we're not going to perform. This looks, well, they don't do that. They're very humble guys. They were like, we're getting an award. We're not going to perform on it. And it's just the way they're just such great, humble guys. But they said, if you can go out there and find somebody, that would be appropriate to do one of our tracks, that might be a great idea. And I said, what about Jacob Moon? And we had gone online and seen a video that he had cut from a rooftop, and subdivisions, incredible. Yeah. So anyway, so they ended up hiring Jacob to perform for Rush. Now you need to ask him that question when he's on, because from what I understand, he had sweat running down the crack of everything, like oh my God, I got to be performing in front of Rush, one of their songs. And the guys in Rush loved it, but it twigged my memory to get him involved in the box set as well. And he's such a great guy, a multi-instrumentalist, and please say hello to him for me. But the best story you'll get from him would probably be asking him how he felt that night to have to perform one of a Rush song in front of Rush.
Okay, that is guaranteed to be an asked question next week.
Yeah.
And one moment.
Super.
There we go.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happened next. Was the management, Penny, reached out to me and said, hey, would you come and play at this thing? It's not really our show, like we're just being honored here, but like if we can kind of put someone forward for them, and almost audition you and make sure that it's okay, then that's not how she put it. She wanted me for the performance. But I was later understanding that by me playing the press conference for the awards show, that I would have to kind of prove myself. And I did the performance, and it went great. And the organizers of the event talked to me and said, I think this will be great. But I didn't actually know that I would be playing until early March and I was playing at the end of March, for this thing. So I had a little bit of time to prepare and, really prepare. But yeah, that was a very nerve-wracking moment getting to be. I remember being backstage, waiting for 8 hours to go on, after sound checking with like, who's that guy from Corky and the Juice Pigs? It's Sean, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about? Sean Cullen? Yeah, I shared a dressing room with Sean Cullen. Yeah.
Chunk, I think.
And so that I enjoyed that because I find him hilarious. And he kind of put me a little bit more at ease, which was good. But he was nervous too because he was having to sing something like almost a French thing or something, that night. And so because of course they honor people from across the spectrum in Canada. And so I was understanding that I would be loading all my gear out onto the stage with a scrim down. So no one would see me. I'd be able to just take my time, get everything set, and then they'd play a video, and then I'd go on. And then they scrapped that, and it was just going to be, okay, you got 3 minutes to get set. Remember, keep in mind, this took hours to get set. You know what I mean? Like for the thing that we did on the rooftop. So 3 minutes. I hired every teamster that was backstage, to grab a different thing. So it's grab the mic stand, he grabbed the, and so we all kind of just put it out there. I plugged in, prayed that I had signal, and then the dude just said, "And here he is, Jacob Moon." You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, here we go. And then it was like I was on, and then I left my body. And I was floating somewhere above myself, watching myself do this. And I'd kind of gone on such down a rabbit hole with preparation where I wrote it out longhand, on like pieces of paper, what I was going to do at every moment in the song, and visualized it because I couldn't always be practicing. It wasn't feasible, to be back there for 8 hours practicing. I just thought I can't psych myself out either, but I got to so I'd done so much preparation that I didn't even attend the performance, psychologically. I was just kind of gone. And then at the end of the thing, I remember just kind of doing the last flourish and looking down at my hands. And when I looked up after just those few seconds, the entire audience was on their feet, including the guys in Rush, and they're in the orchestra seats off to my left. And I just like shivers went from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And so it was just, I remember enjoying it. And I remember it was kind of a euphoric experience, especially the way it ended. But yeah, it was unlike any other performance that I'd ever done. Maybe the other one was even more connected for me was when I opened for Marillion in Montreal back in 2013. Mm-hmm. That was a similar thing. And Trev was at that, so he remembers that.
Sure was.
Yeah, I'm really glad that name has come up because it's starting to get warm here and I need to take the hat off. So now there's Dr. Catherine. Dr. Catherine's walking by. Wave to the camera, Dr. Catherine. No, she can't hear me. Okay, well, they're there. Anyway,
it's interesting with Marillion. Like, Marillion's an odd perspective for me because the person who got me into Marillion is Jacob Moon. I remember very well being at your place in Forest Heights area, and when you first showed me the band and you were playing me stuff, you had like those singles on vinyl. What do you call them? EP discs or whatever they're.
Yeah, you were 12-inch singles.
Yeah, 12-inch. It's like Garden Party, and He Knows You Know. You had tons of them. You had all of them. So like, then you and I go and see at Fish and Marillion, which is amazing that we got to see it together at the very back row of Massey Hall with our backs against the wall. And then like what's happened after that is just it's like a TV movie of the week. Like how the hell does this stuff happen? So like how did you get connected with Marillion in that way? Was it through the Marillion Con that you went and played, or was it before that? Or
yeah, it was several. There were fans of Marillion that were also fans of mine, and they had petitioned Marillion to have me open for them, and then at some point I had to submit.
That's
something.
Wild.
And so I submitted something, and I think Marillion sat in a room and listened to what I was doing, kind of thing, in a live album or whatever. So, and they kind of they thought, okay, yeah, let's get this guy. Sure, sounds good. I mean, they've been through so many different opening acts over the years. You know what I mean? So, to me, it was incredible that they would have me. You know what I mean? But I mean, since then, I've sort of realized that they've had lots of opening acts, a variety of musical persuasions, and it's just kind of something they like to do for their audiences, is kind of up the anticipation for the Marillion show. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And so when I got to play for them that weekend, it was a very different experience than I thought it was going to be. It surprised me at every turn. I remember a few weeks before, Stephen Rothery sent me an email and said, would you play rhythm guitar on one of our songs on the Friday night of the 3-day weekend? And it was a song called 3-Minute Boy.
Yes.
And which was a kind of a song loosely based on Justin Bieber or something, I think, but
Liam Gallagher.
Okay. Liam Gallagher. Is that who it's based on?
I believe that's the story. Yeah. Liam Gallagher.
Interesting. Okay. So, so I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'll do that. And then Trev and I show up at the Olympia Theater in Montreal, in time for the sound check, and we load in and stuff. And I'm talking to the people there, and I'm like, where am I supposed to be? Remember that, Trev? And I was like,
oh yeah,
Lucy. She's like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm Jacob Moon. She's like, why are you here? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm playing with the band. She's like, no, I don't think so. I said, well, Stephen Rothery asked me to play, guitar. I was like, oh, Rothers, he's always doing this, this and that.
Yep.
So the band didn't know. The band had no idea that I was going to join them. They knew I was going to open for them on the Saturday night. They didn't know I was going to join them on the Friday night. And so anyways, I came out to kind of like a sort of a surprised response from the audience who were like just seeing me for the first time. And I played along with him on that. And, we had a good energy, and it was a good performance, and it felt good. And it was nice kind of having Steve Hogarth say my name on the stage. That was kind of a freaky thing, because I knew that probably wouldn't happen on the opening set. So that was pretty wild. But then the next day, and then I sold like a ton of CDs. I remember that. That was back when you could sell CDs. And then the next night, I basically, opened for their Brave performance. They were going to play the whole thing of Brave, which was very highly anticipated. I couldn't wait to see it. I was like, why am I, occupying this time and sort of keeping people from hearing this great music? And so, but when I went on stage, I remember having this, I thought I'd be really nervous because, this is like one of my favorite bands, as Eric said, of all time. You know what I mean? And I'm opening for them. This is freaky. I should feel really weird about it. And I had this real calm and this real peace, because I was seeing the whites of the eyes of the people in the first few rows. And these were me out there. Those were that if I wasn't up here, I'd be down there. You know what I mean? And that was transformative for me for that performance, because I just settled into this very kind of like, I'm doing this for you guys, and I am you, and I can't wait to hear Marillion too, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And that sort of just took all the pressure off, and it was just a real joyful expression. And I was even felt free enough to do one of Marillion's songs that I knew they weren't going to play, which was Kaylee. And so I played Kaylee and Lavender, and the audience would kind of like, kind of looking at each other, going like, "What's he doing?" Kind of thing. And it was this moment of discovery that we're having together. And it was so much fun, you know what I mean? And when that ended, and that was kind of pretty amazing, I got to meet lots of people in the audience after that at the merch table. And the next day, it just kept getting better. I got to sing "Beautiful," which is a Hogarth era Marillion song, with Marillion as the backing band, and with Hogarth playing tambourine right beside me. Yep. And Hogarth actually said, he said, "I'd like to introduce the guy who's going to replace me in this song." He's like, "Now and probably eventually." Jacob Moon.
Wow.
And that was hilarious. It was very humble on his part. He's an unbelievable singer, as I found out when I toured with him in later that year in 2013 through Europe. Like, his voice is unbelievable. It never stops. He doesn't really do anything for it. He doesn't help, nurture it along in any way. He doesn't take naps. He doesn't, eat honey. There's no echinacea. He just kind of goes and does it. And he just full bore giver, balls to the wall. And it's crazy. Yep. So
have you heard Hogarth and Marillion's cover of Fake Plastic Trees?
No, I haven't. I know they're Radiohead fans, but I haven't heard
it's
that.
on they have an Unplugged album, and I was telling Meat that I personally believe that Hogarth's performance on Fake Plastic Trees surpasses the original. That's just my opinion. If you had heard it, I was going to ask you what you thought, but maybe seek it out.
Check it out. I will seek it out. Yep. No, I believe it. And it's always possible to take somebody's performance of a song and one up it, with a different perspective, with a different tone, with a different approach. And certain artists are easier to do that with than others, right? Like, if you're doing a Tom Waits song, a Leonard Cohen song, you can do better, almost anyone can always do, and maybe not do better in terms of like the character presentation of the voice, but you can always make it more tuneful, maybe,
I personally like the version of Downtown Train that Rod Stewart did. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah. I used to do a version of Downtown Train that starred Nigel Tufnell, Neil Diamond, and Tom Waits. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Do you want to have a little bit of that right now?
Yeah, we do.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah,
okay. Hang on. We're gonna do a zoom in here so we can. You're the star of the show here. There we go.
Oh, look at you. Okay,
there we go.
I just got to tune it up here. Yes, I first started doing this back in the early days. Playing in the local pubs in Kitchener-Waterloo, and. Some people laughed. Some people just kind of looked on in in amazement and disbelief. That I was. What is he doing? What's happening right now? And maybe that'll be the reaction here. I don't know, but I think you guys will enjoy this. Can you hear the guitar? I have the microphone set up. Is it?
I can hear it.
You can hear? Okay, great. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get this started.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
You wave your hand and they scatter like crows. Oh, nothing can ever capture your heart.
They're just thorns without the rose. Be careful of them in the dark. But if I was the one, you chose to be your only one. Can't you hear me now? Can't you hear me now? Can I see you tonight? On a downtown train. All my dreams fall like rain.
On the downtown
Oh my God!
Beautiful.
So, LeBrain. Now, I wasn't kidding when I was saying it was "We Are the World," and it was all the voices for a bunch of Vietnamese people who didn't understand English, and they were still like they were brought to reflection. They were reflecting on. It's incredible.
True story.
Okay. And now that we're in this, I just got to do it. Can you please do your impression of Ed Grimley? Because Eric,
I don't know if I could do that, because it's such a blustery day, I mean, I suppose it would be like the best place to do the impression, but I mean, what if I screw it up? Wouldn't that be just the worst of all days?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I haven't. No, listen. It has to be said. I haven't done that impression since in 1989. I think was the last time I did that. It was in my final year of high school, and I did that impression in a video of a yearbook video that I did for the graduating class, and where I interviewed Mayor Dom Cardillo as Ed Grimley.
Wow!
So,
oh my God! I totally remember Dom Cardillo.
You showed me that. I remember you showing me this. Wow.
Amazing.
Ridiculous.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That
Eric,
is unbelievable. I just, but
when we had talked earlier,
What's that?
you mentioned doing possibly a list. Is this something you still want to pursue? Since
oh
we're kind
yes, hey, you know what? Okay,
are we going to do this?
yes, okay, I'm going to do this. And yeah, we're going to do this, and now it's going to be both of them that are going to be answering the questions.
Okay.
All right, Trev.
I'll
get
tell them
ready
about
here.
the Nigel Tufnell list first.
Sure. So to make an incredibly long story very short, about a year and a half ago when COVID hit, we started doing this on Fridays usually and sometimes Saturdays. And in order to keep things interesting, this guy right here said, why don't we do a top 10 list show? But instead of top 10, it's Nigel Tufnell top 10, which means it goes to 11.
It's one more, isn't it?
It's one more. So ever since that guy suggested it, we've been kind of for the last year and several months, I've been doing these Nigel Tufnell top 10 lists, which we always do 11. So Eric has a special Nigel Tufnell top 10 list that he would like to present for, I guess, commentary and feedback. And shall we proceed?
Well, I normally, okay, I'll just say, normally the Nigel Tufnell lists are like ranked like 11 to 1, and they're lists like favorite Black Sabbath songs or whatever. These are going to be questions. It was going to be for one of you. Now it's going to be for after both Trevors. Oh, sorry, for Trevor and Jacob. For Trevor and Jacob.
I'm confused, but okay.
I almost, man, it's true. I said to LeBrain that I almost started a Trevor counter to see how many times I would just say it by accident, and I think I just did it for the first time.
That's the first one. That's the first Trev counter. Okay, Eric, shall we roll it?
You're going to get super confused when I change my name to Jacob.
Which is going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Take it away.
There's a guy named T-Bone who does music for him, and here is the intro for the Nigel Tufnell top 10.
Nigel Tufnell. The top 10. Nigel Tufnell. The top 10. Nigel Tufnell. Oh, these ones go to 11. Nigel Tufnell. The top 10. Nigel Tufnell. Nigel Tufnell.
That was still long, but it could have gone longer as far as I'm concerned.
That's amazing. That was incredible.
Yes, T-Bone's a great guy, and he's quite creative. There's been some interesting moments on the show.
Yes,
so.
there have been.
Okay, now I'm going to be asking questions in like a speed round kind of row, like 11 of them. There's a couple of them that are going to be kind of weird because, well, I wasn't planning on asking them to Trevor, so we'll see how they go. We will start with Trevor and then Jacob. Okay.
Okay. And
Number
sorry,
one.
Can we pass?
Favorite song?
No pass. No pass. There are rules. There are rules.
Maybe. You know, like, let's put it this way. Can
I call a lifeline?
Like right now, if
you
it
could do that.
Yeah. If it wasn't Jacob on the show and somebody else, I probably would be a bit more X-rated, but Jacob always kind of has kept me in line this way, so I'm behaving. Anyway,
I've done a terrible job. Then.
Number one.
Yep.
Number one. Favorite song you have ever wrote?
I think it's a song called "My Least Favorite Lie."
Okay.
Great song.
Okay. There you go.
Maybe three or four albums ago. It's actually been on 2 albums. That's how much I liked it. I liked it so much I rewrote it and put it on another album. It's a song called "Least Favorite Lie."
Yep. Great song.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man.
Jacob, same question to you.
Favorite song I
Oh,
ever
we get
wrote?
the same question. Oh, I got you.
Jacob.
Okay. Favorite song I ever wrote, maybe might be Leaving. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Song about
I
going
love
away.
that song. And that was on And it was actually on the trail too, wasn't it?
No, it was on a record called Among the Thieves, which was my second album, but really my first because I only printed like a few copies of the first one called The Trail.
I know.
And then it was,
I
we
know.
never speak of it again.
I know.
Can I just do this? On the trail of a good time.
You know I love it on the trail. You know.
Both arms open wide.
You see, you know what?
Oh,
But it's still one of my favorite songs. Are you kidding me?
So I'm not
Great song.
gonna be able to
I
get
love
a
the
copy.
album. I love the album. That's all I can say.
I'm not going to be able to get a
I
copy
love
of
that
On
album.
the
The
Trail.
Groove Daddy's on there.
I know I
got
still
Groove
have one
Daddies on
somewhere.
there.
That's
Okay.
true. The Groove Daddies were on there. It can't be all bad, I guess.
Okay. So number two. Yes. So number two. Trevor. Song you wish you wrote.
That's easy. The Things We've Handed Down by Mark Cohen.
Now I played that last night on Moon at 9. Did you know that?
Come on.
I missed that.
Yeah. You got to tune in, man. The replay is still up there.
That's-
Okay, I'm going to tune in to hear that for sure.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Jacob,
That's a crazy answer. Okay.
I worked on that song before my son Jacob was born.
Yes.
And I played it for you the night before you got married in the hotel room. And I asked you, hey man, how do you think this is coming together? And you were like, wow, that's really great.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a story or not, but there you go.
Yeah.
But that's the first time when I started working on that song the first time. That was back then.
All those years ago. Crazy.
All those years ago. Yep.
Nutty.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Jacob. Song you wish you wrote.
A song I wish I wrote. What's a perfect song that I kind of think I would have wished that I'd written?
Time stands still.
So yeah, time stands still, exactly. I mean, that is a tough one. I didn't know this would be the question, but I think because there's a long list kind of running through my head right now. But if there's one that I keep coming back to, it's probably Jackson Brown, Late for the Sky. Pretty great song.
There you go.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Cool. Okay, number 3, favorite Rush album.
Number 3, the favorite Rush now. Okay, probably my favorite is probably Exit Stage Left. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's not a coincidence.
Oh,
Actually, we don't really have Rush in common. It's not like we bonded over Rush.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's probably my favorite album too. Yep.
Yeah. We had a lot of we had the
you
cassette
remember,
of it.
well, I wrote these.
Yeah, we had the cassette of that live album, and we listened to it at a camp that we both worked at.
Yeah, Brayside. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
Oh, nice. There you go. Okay.
Nice truck.
Trucks. Okay, Trevor.
Yes.
Trevor, your first concert.
The first one I ever went to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That was
Your first concert you.
it was Striper.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Well, there
It
you
was
go.
Striper at a festival way back in the day called Green Fest.
Yes.
And I don't even
Green
remember the
Fest.
year that would have been. Maybe 1985 or 86.
To hell with the devil era.
Yeah.
To hell with the devil.
Yep. That's the album they were touring.
Where was that?
I
was
do
that?
believe it was at like a water park in like Kitchener Waterloo area.
It was at Binghamton.
Binghamton
Oh,
Park. Binghamton Park.
Okay, I was
Binghamton
at a
Park.
Green Fest. Yeah. I was at a Green Fest myself, but it was a later one. I think I saw Rez band there.
Oh, I love Rez.
Correctly.
Yep.
Yeah,
man.
I believe.
So I mean, there
that's
were
neat.
other bands
Striper.
there that weekend, obviously,
But
but I
Striper
didn't
was
care
the.
about any of those other
Yeah.
bands. I was there as a 14-year-old to hear Striper, right? So yeah.
That's a
There you
cool
go.
answer. That's
Cool.
a cool answer.
Jacob, first concert.
First concert for me was Burton Cummings, Center in the Square, 1980, I want to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Last night we had on as our special guest Mr. Robert Lawson, who wrote the book Wheatfield Empire: The Listener's Guide to the Guess Who, and Him and Burton are buddies.
Nice.
Wow.
Burton seems like
Very
a
cool.
fun guy to hang out with in some way.
He sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to jump in, Eric. You didn't ask me, but I'm going to give you my answer as well. Johnny Cash, 1983.
Oh,
Center in
yeah.
the Square.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I clocked. that he
Mine
came
was
to
Center in the Square. Mine was Center in the Square, and it was the Monks. Drugs in your pocket.
Drugs in my pocket.
That was my first album. Yeah.
And
Yeah, true story.
I like that song. There's drugs in my pocket, and
Okay.
I don't know what to do with them. You know, I don't know how to organize them. I don't know where to
That's
put
right.
Like, there's no pockets are difficult for filing systems, you know?
exactly.
That's funny. Okay. Number five. I'm going to start with Trevor here.
Yeah.
Remember, these are worded like I'm only, because I was originally just asking them to Trevor. Jacob.
Jacob, yeah.
Oh, I'm getting it. Okay, here we go. Trevor.
all
Other than Rush or Marillion, someone you met or connected with Starstruck.
And was Starstruck or just got to meet?
And you were starstruck. Like the biggest
And I was
starstruck
starstruck.
moment for you that wasn't Rush or Marillion. Yeah.
Boy, okay, I'll just go with a recent memory. My son Bergen is also a musician, and has been doing quite well. Goes by the moniker Dutch Revs. He's got like a gazillion followers on Instagram. But anyways, we had the opportunity to go to LA and write and record a song with Travis Barker, Blink 182.
Oh,
So spent about a 12-hour day in the studio with my son and Travis Barker,
Wow.
which was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know if I was starstruck, because I'm certainly not like a Blink 182 fan necessarily. I don't hate them, but I'm not like but it was really cool to be with somebody of that caliber, and he played drums on the track, and he's total one-take wonder, and a really, really, really nice guy.
Cool.
So that's most recent.
Okay.
That was just before COVID hit. I think that happened. So yeah.
That's a neat answer.
Yeah.
Cool. Jacob? Same thing.
I got to meet Daniel Lanois when I was still just a young musician.
Oh yeah.
He was at the Hamilton Music Awards, and I was up for an award and backstage and stuff, and I just kind of walked over and talked to him, and I was other than Rush and Marillion, that would have to be the one that I was starstruck. I don't think I was that coherent when I was talking to him. So I worked with his brother Bob, so I was talking to him about that and trying to kind of use that as an inroad to kind of talking to him. But it was a crowded, kind of noisy sort of bar sort of environment, and so it wasn't conducive to real great conversations. You're kind of leaning in close, and you're kind of just he probably is just wanting it to be over so he can go back to doing what he's doing. So yeah, one of those.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 6. Favorite, after Trevor, favorite David Letterman moment.
Oh wow. Favorite Letterman moment. Gee, man, I don't think we missed an episode for about 20 years, right? So, favorite moment. I'm drawing a blank here. Can we get the Mooner to go first on this one?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of my favorite Letterman moments was when he hosted the Oscars that one year.
Oh man.
And it's just pretty legendary. Just I can't even remember some of the things that he said. Like I knew he was talking about Uma and Oprah and stuff like. But there was many things.
Yes.
There's many moments where he was
the Uma Oprah thing is the best, man.
Yeah. But he had
Uma,
he had a lot of
Oprah.
contempt for
Oprah,
the audience.
Uma.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And he had a lot of contempt.
They
for
showed
the
some
institution.
clip. Yeah, they showed some clip of Cabin Boy altered
That's right.
At some point of that show, I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was, or it was other people saying the line, like Robert De
Yeah.
Niro, "You want to buy a monkey?" or whatever it was.
Want to buy a monkey? That's right.
That's right.
That
That's
was
right.
the line. That was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And then,
only scene people still talk
Yeah,
about.
that's funny.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I remember he said something about like I've just been given a lot of money from Disney to star in movies that I have no intention of making. That just cracked me up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah.
I
There you
love
go.
him so much.
Okay.
So I think mine was the Drew Barrymore, the boob flash,
Yes,
Oh.
and not
Absolutely.
yeah, and not because of Drew
Awesome.
Barrymore's boob flash, but because of his reaction to the
Right.
boob
Well,
flash.
exactly.
It was like the best
Yeah.
reaction anyone could ever have to someone doing that. So I'd probably have the exact same reaction. I would
Indeed.
assume. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a pretty good moment.
Indeed.
Good
Yeah.
one. Good one.
Okay, do we got a very similar question? Trevor, favorite
Yeah.
ever Letterman guest?
yeah. Harvey Picar, remember him?
Yeah.
I loved Harvey Picar.
That's a great movie, by the way. That's a great
Yeah.
movie if you haven't seen it.
American Splendor.
American Splendor is awesome. That's
Awesome. Yes.
So the name is escaping me right now. Jacob, you're gonna have to help me with this. Who was the blonde woman who was on all the time?
Terry Garr.
Terry
Terry
Garr.
Garr. Every time Terry Garr was on, are you kidding me? Like, forget
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
It was the best episode that I'd ever seen every time she was on.
Because she didn't take any of his crap, right?
Walking.
No, she was fantastic. Terry Garr,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Terry Garr does not take
Awesome.
crap in general.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, Trevor,
Yes.
a gun to your head, favorite record of all time.
Ooh.
Favorite record of all time. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is going to be twofold.
Obviously, there's no wrong answer here.
Yeah, there's no wrong answer. Can I give you a two though?
Mm.
I
I
can
think
only give you
no.
one.
I think that
That's fine.
you know what? It's my show. I'd say it violates the spirit of the question.
Okay. All right. So first,
Okay,
and it's
one. You
because
gotta
it's-
pick one.
and it's my favorite childhood memory of a record that I still have and still listen to all of the time, and it's Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy. Yeah, like big time.
There you go.
I can't get enough of all of those songs still after like 40 something years of listening to it.
It's a great album.
Like my brother had it when I was a kid, and I used to play it all the time on my little Fisher Price turntable. And then I would say Misplaced Childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, by Marillion. Those
Yeah,
are my
there
two
you
favorite
go.
albums.
On last week's show, we
You know, it's
did.
weird with Thin Lizzy. Go on.
I was
Go
going to
on.
say on last week's show, we did our Nigel Tufnell top 10 list was blind buys, meaning albums that you buy without really knowing anything about them or
yeah.
much of anything. And Misplaced Childhood was one of might have been my number one. I can't remember. No, it was my number two.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
Yeah. That was my first introduction to Marillion through Jacob Moon. Actually, he got me the CD and said, "You got to listen to this. If you're going to learn how to play guitar and sing, you got to listen to this right here." And changed everything, man, for sure.
I borrowed his cassette, and it sat on a ledge for like a month or two, and then I finally just I put it in a Walkman and took a bus, and I ended up stopping, getting off the bus, and sitting at the Glockenspiel in Waterloo, and just what is going on? I got to listen to this again, and actually listening to the whole thing again. And so, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I hear you. Okay,
Pretty cool.
Jacob,
Sorry.
your favorite album of all time?
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh,
My takeaway from that story, Eric, is that you're kind of a jerk for borrowing his album for 2 months and not listening to it. In my world, you borrow an album, you tape it, you return it the next day. Next day.
That's right.
My guess is because he had so much vinyl, he probably had a cassette as well, and that's the only reason why he would even allow me to like have it any sort of extended period of time. So,
Well, I remember lending you a Marillion tour
Stickler.
shirt, right? And then that didn't come back for years.
Yeah.
And when it did come back, it had been worn by Dave Appleton, who's at least you know, 6 inches taller than me, and you know, gigantic Hulk, homunculus of a man, you know, and he stretched it over his frame for years, and so it came back as this like sail that I had to put on myself after that. It was just like it was pretty funny. Yeah. Anyways, my favorite album of all time is not a. I mean, normally I would say something like Misplaced Childhood, but I have to say something has superseded it, and it may not be a very popular answer in this forum. But it is, in fact, my favorite album, and it is the Cologne Concert by Keith Jarrett.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a solo piano improvisation that he gave in Cologne, Germany. And he was doubled over in back pain. I'll find all this out later. And the piano was wrong. It was kind of a bit of a honky-tonk kind of piano. It was supposed to be kind of a, you know, Steinway or something. And he was fighting with the piano, fighting with his health, fighting for the whole time. And it was just inspiration after inspiration, revelation after revelation, musical ecstasy, you know, for over an hour. And it still holds up. Probably one of the top-selling jazz albums of all time.
Wow. That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
I'll add that to my wish list then.
All right.
It will move, especially in these times. It will move you. It'll do all the right things for you. Yeah. So
nice.
Nice.
All right.
You know, something I just thought of again that we were talking about Misplaced Childhood. Do you remember, Jacob, that we were coming back from some sort of a youth group performance, and I think in London, and we were coming back on a bus, and we made the whole bus listen to all of Misplaced Childhood a cappella by you and me.
Wow. That would have been.
I think you
been
must
awful.
remember that.
That would have been just terrible. Imagine how that would have sounded.
Of course it was. Yeah.
Two
Out
guys
of
in
context, all
unison.
those melodies.
Yes, it was not very good.
It would have been all over the place. Man.
To me, I don't understand how these people, and I'm I'm sure it was like Wendy Taylor and whoever and Andrea and whoever. I don't remember them telling us to shut the hell up, but we did it anyway. We did it for an hour. It was nice.
So funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 40 minutes, half hour, long enough. It probably seemed like 8 hours being trapped into a bus.
Yeah, that could be weaponized, you know, against our enemies, you know, foreign and domestic. It's wow.
Sorry, just for the record here, it was Keith Jarrett, the Cologne concert.
Yeah, Cologne. So Cologne is how we say it, but it's Köln with an umlaut over the O. Yeah, Koln. Yeah.
Cool.
So
I think you just sold a couple of copies just by saying that.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I hope I did, because the people who listen to it know exactly what I mean when they hear they won't be able to stop, because when they understand that little piece, that little tidbit, that the man was in pain, he was sitting there, the audience was just wrapped with attention. You don't hear them at all until they clap at the end of his movements, and he just goes off, you know, on these amazing musical tangents. That's just like it's unbelievable. It's like I'm getting chills just thinking about it. You ever have a song or an album that when you think of it, it gives you chills?
Yes.
That's that one. Yeah.
That's an awesome answer.
Yeah.
Love it.
Music that makes your skin vibrate, as our friend Brent Jensen says.
Love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
All right, Meat Man, what's your next question?
Awesome. I'm done with the questions.
Oh, are you? I thought you had 11.
Yeah, I thought there was 11.
A couple no, I did, but I didn't have.
He abandoned.
I screwed it up.
Okay, so he's the founder of the format, and he screws up the format.
I ended up
Classic Eric
on the computer screen. I ended up erasing. I ended up erasing 4 of them, and I had to make up one other, so I only had 7. Anyway,
This
but I
one
do want
goes
to tell
to
this
7.
story, which
That's right.
is interesting.
Well, it's 4 less loud.
The last time that I was with, the last time that I was with,
I can see my
two of
face
you
on
together,
both sides.
and you both will remember.
It's like a mirror.
Somewhere around 2000, somewhere around 2007, 2008, I can't remember. We went to a karaoke bar in Cambridge.
Yes, we did.
Of the three of us, and it was very eventful. I remember there was Careless Whisper done. There was Babe by Styx. Babe by Styx was done. I think there was a Patti LaBelle done too as well.
Wait, here we go.
It was pretty impressive. I remember the one story. I'll never forget it. I'm standing. Oh, what is he doing?
He's tuning. You said Babe, and he started tuning.
Oh, he's gonna play.
He's gonna play Babe.
Okay, he's tuning. Okay, just wait.
Go.
Now, it was interesting. I'm standing there, and I'm standing outside out with this girl, and I'm having a smoke, and we're looking at the two, at Trevor and Jacob in the bar or whatever, and she's like, you guys are really singing some interesting songs, like love songs. I'm like, yeah, what is screwing around you? Like, I was wondering if you guys were gay. And I'm like, and my first thing was, I'm like, I have a huge beard and I'm wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. What do you think? And she goes, don't know about them two. And I look over at them and like, yeah, I guess I can see why. Because both of you, Trevor
we would make a horrible couple. A horrible couple.
Trevor was wearing some sort of like pink pants. I remember there's some sort of pink pants you're wearing, like very, very Trevor looking. So I'm like, I can't argue with what you're saying. Like, yeah, they're not, but I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's been the story of our friendship since we It's that's nice that the two gay men have found each other now. Yes, sweet couple. Exactly. Yeah. So
we'd make a horrible couple. We've never even been roommates. Right? Like
we may have spooned on occasion, but that's about
we
it.
have spooned.
Like,
yeah, of course.
So are you gonna play Babe by Styx?
Yeah, play me Babe. Would you, Babe?
Okay, I think you need to play Babe by Styx.
No, I gotta do it as Dennis DeYoung. This is another impression. All right, there you go.
All right.
Babe, I'm leaving. Must be on my way. Time is drawing me.
Oh
yeah. Please believe me. My heart is in your hands, and I'll be missing you. Everything's over enunciated. I don't know why with that guy, but he's just always like, because it's you, babe. Whenever I get weary and I've had enough, feel like giving up. Sing along. Because it's you, babe. Give me the courage and the strength I need. Please believe that it's true. Babe, I love you.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I wish we had the tip jar for you, man.
Yeah.
I feel like we owe you something after this performance.
Beautiful. Absolute beautiful.
Funny enough, I was literally just listening to that this morning. I've been on a Styx kick all weekend, and I played it this morning.
I love it. Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
That is amazing.
I got to meet Gowan backstage a few years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, Gowan and Michael Sadler were hanging out together, and I was going to get to chat with those two guys. Pretty nice.
That's epic.
Oh, Lawrence, love that guy.
Love him.
Now you do remember. You do remember that it's. Do you remember that that's not the first time that you were standing right beside Gowan?
That's true, because he was at the Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe concert in 1989. At CNE.
He was right. He was standing right beside you, me, and Craig Farah.
That's right. That's right.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. He's a big fan. Big
That's
fan.
awesome.
Hey, Eric,
Yeah.
you asked who
Yeah.
made them. You asked earlier who made them starstruck. I know somebody that makes you starstruck
Yeah.
that you've encountered a couple of times, but just for the audience's sake, do you want to retell the story of when you blew pot smoke up Geddy Lee's nose?
See, these aren't necessary. These aren't necessarily the things that I like to necessarily relay to my good friend Jacob Moon.
Oh, come on.
now.
But I will.
Do now.
Don't be shy.
But I will tell this. But I will tell this story. Yes. I went to a show. Oh, I guess it would have been 2 years ago.
Yeah, it would have been 2019.
Of the Lennon Claypool at Delirium. When saw them in Toronto, and it was great. So there we are. We're standing out front, and the opening band left, and now we're right in front of the Danforth Music Hall.
Yeah.
And we're standing there, and didn't realize we're standing right beside this big bus because there's just people everywhere. So you're not really looking at where you are. And we're smoking a pretty large joint, and I'm right in the middle of doing it, and I'm literally right beside the bus door. And I'm in the middle of doing it, and I turn, and the door opens, and Geddy Lee is literally less than 2 feet from me. And I kind of did what you would call almost like, not a spit take, but a smoke take. I kind of went, and could have given Geddy a bit of a contact eye. And I was like, what the hell? I had no idea. Like, what is Geddy Lee doing here? And we're like, he's going to come out, isn't he? And somebody was like, no, that never happened. And then, of course, Sean Lennon is doing his song off Revolver. Tomorrow Never Knows.
Oh
They
yeah.
do Tomorrow Never Knows, and Geddy Lee just walks out during it and plays and jams with them for like 10 minutes. It was amazing.
Wow.
But yeah, I may have gotten Geddy Lee a little higher than what he was expecting.
May have is not the operative words.
It's so funny. I love it.
You did. It happened.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, 40 years on the road. I'm
That's
sure
fair.
it's not the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not. So yeah,
My only
that was an interesting night.
my only awkward brush with fame myself is when I was managing a record store in Kitchener back in the early 2000s. I insulted by accident Walter Ostanek, who is, of course, a national treasure here in Canada. And he was coming in looking for Oktoberfest CDs. I didn't have any in stock. He handed me his business card saying, if you need any, give me a call. And I said, you're the guy who won that Juno Award. And he turns around and he says, it was a Grammy. I was just like, oh.
Well, you weren't wrong. He probably also won a Juno. I don't know.
I'm sure he has also won several, but
See, that store was called The Beat Goes On. Was it not?
Yeah.
Okay. So The Beat Goes On. My memory of Eric working there was that he would work there and he would working. Yeah, exactly. What it usually was him loading up the CD changer with unsuitable music CDs that everyone would have to be subjected to when it came around to his random play. And I remember the one time he told me he put the Jingle Cats CD on there.
Oh my God.
And this went on and on. He kept selecting Jingle Cat songs, it's like, Silent Night by the Jingle. It's just cats meowing basically, right? There's no words. And at one point he said somebody was in the store and he came up to you and he said, I don't gotta put up with this. That's just a bunch of cats singing in some alley. He walked out. He was out of there, and he turned away so many customers by the stuff that you would pick. Whether it was I don't know, Mata Hoople or whatever it was, but it was like
it was a lot of Jingle Cats. I just like the shock value of it. I just love the shock value of it, and I would keep playing it. I got told to stop playing it.
Okay,
and I got written up. I got written up for playing Spinal Tap.
Well,
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap's the greatest. But no, but the greatest one that I can think of that would one up the Jingle Cats is the Shags. Do you know who the Shags are?
I know that rings a bell.
Okay, the Shags are 3 girls, sisters, who have kept at home by their uber religious parents, not allowed to fraternize with worldly people, given instruments at a young age, and then just without hearing music from the real world, came up with what they thought music would sound like in the basement.
Interesting.
Oh,
and what comes out of this, okay, is
Frank Zappa's a part of it.
Frank Zappa loves the Shags because it's like it's totally new music.
Now I know what
right?
you're talking about.
Music from another planet or something. And it's just
it's awful.
But it's unlistenable. Like it's that bad. Like you just put it on, people are like, what are you doing? But it's fun to just put it on at parties and just see what the reaction is. See how long it takes before people notice you're playing it.
I'm Googling that as soon as we get done with this
the
podcast.
Shags. The greatest thing you'll ever hear is the Shags. And
That
I remember
awesome.
the father in that family, he brought his girls to record that album in Nashville because he says, I want to record them now while they're hot.
Oh, classy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you hear them, you'll know
really
how funny
hard
that
to
is.
take.
Yeah.
The Shags.
It's so hard to take.
Yeah.
It's very hard. Yeah, it's very hard to take. Yeah. I thought Zappa, I thought Zappa may have been involved, but you might be right. I think he made a quote like the greast album he's ever heard or something like that.
Yeah. It would be right.
Something that he loved it.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, their top 2 songs are top. Go ahead.
I'm just seeing if Mike has any other questions. Maybe we'll get, if you don't, maybe we'll get Jacob to play us out on whatever song he feels like,
or whatever impression he feels like. Yeah, actually, I did want to follow up.
Impression.
You answered pretty much everything I was going to ask you about subdivisions anyway, but I saw a second video that looked like it was filmed at the same time. What was it? Come Talk to Me by Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, exactly.
And another stunning video, but yet it doesn't look the same. You can tell that they're 2 completely different videos. One thing I liked about that one, though, is that in every single angle, it's almost like you have a completely different backdrop. Whether it was pointing in this direction, you've got an apartment building behind you. Over here, nothing but trees behind you. Over here, there's that cityscape behind you. And I just wanted to... I think it's a shame that video doesn't have nearly as many hits as Subdivisions. So I just want to give that a shout out and get people to check that one out.
Yeah, I mean, I got tons of videos on YouTube, honestly, hundreds. And so, I mean, you can sort of sort them by, any artists that you're interested in or by popularity or whatever, view count. But yeah, the stuff that sometimes I'm most proud of is not the stuff that's as popular as others, And I've never really advertised on YouTube. I've never tried to pour gasoline on any of the popularity of the songs. I've just kind of let it organically grow basically since I've started. And so for better or worse, that's kind of where people are like, why don't you have like 1 million subscribers? But I'm like, I don't know. I don't know really exactly how to get 1 million subscribers, but it's probably by showing up every Monday at a certain time, having a certain look and having a certain audience engagement. And I just don't always have time for that. So, one of those things.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I got a day gig. I can't do this all day. If I wish I could. And you got a family, you got obligations too.
It's true. It's true.
I was trying to hire this guy to be my IT expert, but that was a complete and total disaster. It just turned into nothing but Jingle Cats videos.
What can I say? I mean,
I heard an added wrinkle that I heard to that story is that he was playing that CD in July.
Oh yeah. It was not Christmas time. It was not Christmas time.
But as the average consumer, you can't be in the store when that's playing. Really, I mean, it's nails on a chalkboard. It's So that was maybe the demise of that store. That store isn't there anymore, is it? The Beat Goes On in Waterloo?
They moved to a different location.
Yeah.
They amalgamated
Just,
a couple of stores and moved them to a different
Weber and
location.
University,
Yeah.
Weber and Columbia area. It's kind of,
Yep.
they kind of amalgamated two stores.
Right.
I wonder how long it'll be until that. I mean, I just don't see how the used CD situation can survive much longer.
Well, there's always weirdos like me that actually I do have one more question. There's always weirdos like me that want physical CDs, right? So I was browsing your website this morning, and it looks like you still do sell physical CDs.
I mean, I have some, not that many, but I have some in my studio here. Yeah, for sure. But people don't want them. Like, there's
I
no
do.
market
I
for
was
them.
actually gonna, confirm that you have stock before I place an order.
I have stock of some, not all of my. I have the 20 years best of collection. I got Shelter Me by the Commissionaires, the deluxe edition, and I don't even know if there's any other titles in that. And then some vinyl, of both those albums. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, that's all.
I'll be browsing a little later. I'm glad I have this one.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That goes right back to year 2000.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. The World Are Left Behind. Classic.
And can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Are you a vampire, Jacob Moon?
Am I a vampire in what sense?
In what sense? You look exactly the same now as you did on the cover of that album that he just got.
That's not true. I got longer hair. I don't know.
Come on, no, you have not
Pretty
aged. Look
close.
at me. Look at me, and look at Eric. All right, look at the two of us.
Yeah.
We look like your dad, or maybe the lady at the bar thought we were your dads.
Yeah.
But
no,
you just don't age, brother. You don't age. You look fantastic.
That doesn't mean he's a vampire. He could be a Wolverine.
Exactly. I mean, I just don't go. I haven't spent a lot of time outside. And I mean, I guess I've had some stress in my life, but I haven't.
Do you moisturize?
They go through something and they turn gray.
You moisturize.
Yeah, like what is it?
There's no. I don't have a moisture. No, I have no. And there's no emollients. You know what I mean? It's not. No.
I don't know. I just feel like when I'm around you, I feel like I've let myself go.
Yeah, I feel the same way every time I look at myself on this live stream.
Get out of here, you guys. Oh man, that's a very kind compliment.
Amazing.
I appreciate it. That's very nice.
I mean it, man. You look fantastic, brother.
Well, what can I say? I'm a 50-year-old with a kind of a dad bod, and I still play the guitar for a living, so that's not too bad.
Dad bod. Come on, look at this guy.
It was nothing like my dad's bod, I can tell you that.
Yeah, you know what? My dad was in way better shape. It still is in way better shape than I am.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Oh man,
love it.
Well, I certainly didn't
amazing.
expect this to be to go as silly as it did. So I hope, Jacob, you never know how it's going to go on these shows. Sometimes it's dead serious, and other times it's a little on the silly side. So that's the luck of the draw today.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Well, I mean, as soon as I knew that Trevor was coming to join us, let's just say that's a license for silly.
It's pretty much a license for silly. Can I tell one more quick story? 30 seconds.
Yeah,
please.
About the silly thing. So, man, it had to be probably around 2004, 2005. And Jacob, you can correct me. We were both just dating someone new. You ended up marrying that person you were dating. And we went on a double date. And the person I was dating at the time was angry with me in the car. And she said, "You embarrassed me all night. Do you guys ever get together and not be so silly?" Right? And I was just like, I don't think so. Also, I don't think this is going to last long.
Amen.
But do you remember that, T?
Yes, I do. Yeah, no,
that cheesecake place on the corner of Maine and
yes.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I remember exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. We can't help ourselves. That's the problem.
Can't help ourselves.
We get together. This is what we do. It's just like you deal with it. You got to marry somebody that's
don't have us do your eulogy at your funeral, because this is what it'll be.
No, exactly. I mean, I think I lost your wedding ring as your best man on the platform. You know what I mean? Like we just, We can't be stopped. It's
Can't be stopped.
no
True story.
no. It's not appropriate. It's not the right time. Too bad. We're doing it
It's
anyway.
always been.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you
That's
put
awesome.
Eric in the mix, and then it just gets even worse, right? So yeah.
Oh,
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna play us out with a song that's for Mr. Eric Litwiller here, and for the good old times of living in Kitchener-Waterloo and all that good stuff.
Awesome.
And this is a Steve Earle song. All right.
Yeah.
Because I know that Eric is right into Steve Earle, or was.
Big time.
We
Big
both
time.
are.
All right.
We both are.
All right, so here it is. It goes something like this.
There ain't a lot that you can do in this town. Drive down to the lake and then you turn back around. Go to school so you can learn to read and write. So you can walk into the county bank and sign away your life. I work at the filling station on the interstate. Yeah. Pumping gasoline and counting out of state plates. You ask me how am I sent to Memphis, son, and where's the nearest beer? Well, they don't even know that there's a town around here. Someday I'm finally gonna let go. I know there's a better way. I wanna know what's over the rainbow. I'm gonna get out of here someday. Now, my brother went to college 'cause he played football. Me, I never even got through high school at all. Got me a 67 Chevy, she's low and sleek and black. Someday I'll put her on the interstate and never look back. Yeah. Someday I'm finally gonna let go. I know there's a better way. Well, I wanna know what's over the rainbow. I'm gonna get out of here someday. I'm gonna get out of here someday.
Wicked.
Beautiful team, man.
Awesome.
Love that
Steve
song.
Earle, nice. Loved it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Well done, man.
Thanks, buddy. It's been a while since I played that tune, but I love that. I love that Steve Earle song. Just
Yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah, Kitchener-Waterloo isn't quite that small, but it's still got that small town vibe to it. That's just
Plus, he
sometimes
recorded a
you gotta get out of town.
album in Kitchener. Shut Up and Die Like an Aviator was recorded in Kitchener.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. He even spelled Kitchener wrong in the liner notes.
Center in the square.
He spelled it Kitchener.
Yeah. True story.
Yep.
That's how we say it.
That is.
Yeah, Vanna, can I buy a vowel? Yeah, exactly. But did he? Was that at Cedar View? Was that where he did that?
I thought. Did somebody say Center in the Square? He recorded it.
Oh, at Center in the Square. Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, Center in the Square. Yeah.
Okay.
It was on. It was on the It was. I think it was just after the Copperhead Road tour. I believe. From what I've heard, he was in he was in some sad, sorry shape when he
It was
recorded
not.
that album.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Exit O or Exit Zero.
Not long after that.
But regardless,
not long after that, he went to jail. Not long after that, and then sobered up, and then came out and wrote so many great albums after that. It's awesome.
Amen.
What was the show where he was an AA advisor or like sponsor or like what was that show?
The Wire.
The Wire. Yeah.
The Wire. The Wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
so
wild.
good in that. So believable, man. Right?
Yeah. Very real. Totally.
Oh, that's
Love
such a good
Steve Earle.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed.
All right. Well,
I mean, it was an absolute pleasure
yes.
to see both of you. I love both
nice
of you
to meet
very
you.
much. It's been a long time
Yes.
since I've seen you and been together.
This has been
I love
a
how to get together. We got to do a karaoke night when the world's not on lockdown, man.
Man, I am gonna spray droplets all over that joint, man. I tell you what, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Gonna be-
That's right.
Take down the shields. I'm gonna go for it. You know, I'm gonna sing
man.
something with a lot of S's in it, and it's gonna be good.
Nice.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
Oh, that's man. We got to do it, guys. We got to do it.
Studio.
And Mike,
I
you got to come along with us.
Studio is what I should do. Yeah.
It's a studio. That's a good one.
Thanks a lot, Trevor, for joining us. I know I was really hoping that you would, and obviously I knew that you were, quite possibly quite busy.
Well, next time lead with podcast with Jacob Moon instead of. Will you do me a favor?
Good advice.
But it was, but it was a favor. But you're right. You're right. It would have
I'm
been
teasing you, man.
But hey, you were so surprised. I was like, oh my god, God, he doesn't really want a favor.
Anytime I see, anytime I see your name come up in my inbox, man, it lights my heart up. I'm not kidding. Like, I love you, brother. So
really, it has the opposite effect on me. It's usually a heart attack. Like it's like yesterday. It's like I got an idea. I'm gonna invite this Trev guy on. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I trust you. Whatever. I have no idea. Like I got all my questions planned. I've figured out what I want to talk about. No, just throw it all out the window.
Throw it all out the window. Yeah, sorry about that, Mike.
No, quite all right. I had a great time.
Me
And Jacob, thank you for playing some tunes, man.
Absolutely. No, this is. I mean, sometimes you got to just throw it out the window. It's like a 9 o'clock news show during the Trump administration or something like that.
Actually, is this a first, Eric? Is this a first that somebody's actually played like a full song on our show?
Yeah,
I think that's a first.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a first.
Nice.
Yeah.
It totally is.
As it should be.
It's very cool.
It's about
Very
music.
cool.
You should have people playing music. I don't know.
Well, you're the first,
the only
first person who's been willing.
Well, it's true. I don't know if he knew, and both of us were not quite sure, but what the rules were for the Facebook people, because I know he gets shut down with.
It doesn't get
you know
shut
what I
down
mean?
unless
So-
you use the original recording.
Right.
You got to use the original recording. Yeah.
Right. So I couldn't play any of his
Gotcha.
videos, for example, or I'd get a copyright strike.
Correct.
Yeah, like you could. Yeah, exactly. And there's a certain amount of time that it takes to catch it. you
Yeah.
know? So yeah. But no, it's you can I play other people's songs all the time. I mean, and if you do it on YouTube, they give you kind of copyright notices and stuff, but it doesn't mean to take it down. It just means that that's where the ad money goes to, is to
Right.
those, rights holders. So
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will not be able to monetize this video, but that's okay because my YouTube isn't monetized. So
Well, it was
no
nice.
big deal.
It was certainly nice to because the only thing that well, let's just say that that the LeBrain Train is so desperate for music that he's had to listen to like Max the Axe stuff, which is what's an album that I was a part of a couple years ago, and like they're probably just getting sick and tired of hearing the same crap all the time. So it's
Well,
actually like a real singer singing a real song is
yeah, it's nice to actually hear that instead of our goofy comedy music that we've been playing.
Indeed.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us on, and great
Thank
to
you
see
so
you.
much, both of you.
Thanks,
guys
guys.
have
Thank you to both
A
of you,
great
man.
rest of the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
You too.
Happy Father's Day.
Absolutely.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy
same,
Father's Day.
Same to
Cheers.
both of you. And
Cheers.
take care. Thanks
Ciao.
all.
Bye-bye.
Great day. Love you all.
it to anywhere. And a glazed donut. To go, to go.